Hello gentlemen, today we are going to look at how to draw a map of the world from memory freehand. So the first step is to get your paper and fold it into 8 squares. So you fold it once the long way, and then you fold it in half the short way, and then in half again. And voila, you have a piece of paper with an 8-box grid. So that's what we'll be working on today. Here's the map of the world, and here is how we do it. So the center line of your map is going to run right down the center of this map that I have projected on the board. So that's our center line. Here is the left-hand hash mark. The left-hand fold, notice it lands right at the Yucatan of Mexico. The center line of the whole map runs right through the heart of Africa and through the middle of Europe. And the last one goes right down the edge of Asia and separates China from India. So let's start drawing. So I'm going to start here in the Western Hemisphere in the Americas. We start here in Mexico and we stair step down, right in the dead center of the map. Stair step down, 1, 2. Then we have the turkey leg of South America. So it just goes out, comes back in, and looks sort of like a turkey drumstick, like on Thanksgiving. Now we're going to go back to our center point and do North America. So we have the big letter G for Gulf of Mexico. Then we have Florida, which dips down. We go up for the cat head here. And remember, what do cat heads do? Hairball. So it's coughing up this hairball here. We hook around for Hudson Bay. We just have a smooth line over here to Alaska. Bump, 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 and a tail that sticks out. And then a smooth arch down to Baja, Mexico. And then we close it around and finish that staircase we started. Few islands to put in. Up here in Canada in the frozen north, you can just put a bunch of little islands. And then the big Dorito that is Greenland, big triangle up there, and the little Iceland floating out there. A couple more islands to put in. Cuba right here in the center, Hispaniola, and a little chain of islands that connects down to South America. So this is North and South America. It's just that easy. Now let's move on to Africa. So here's the center point of our whole map. And we're going to see begins with a C, and you have a big letter C right around the center. You dip down and over for the top of Egypt. M for Moses, who crossed the Red Sea. You have M here, and then from that letter M, you dip down, out for the Horn, and back in. And you just have a triangle down, triangle up. Remember, Africa is shaped like a hammer. So you have the head of the hammer, the tail of the hammer, and the handle down here. And then you have the broken pickle hanging out here off the edge of Africa. So Africa is done. We have Madagascar out here, Africa, and now we're going to start over here at the letter M again, go down the other side of the Red Sea for the box. You have this box shape here, and then it has a bite taken out of it. So the box with a bite, we connect on over to India. India is like a dragon tooth or a stalactite that sticks down and up, and that dragon tooth is dripping blood. Finally, we have Asia's Wang over here, so it goes down, up, and around. China has a pot belly, so it goes around and dips down. And then we go up into Russia, and it's the same shape. Around and dip down and up. So China around, dip down for Korea. Russia, we go around, then dip down, and then we're done. Unfortunately, Asia has a whole bunch of islands that we need to know about. So Sumatra is long and skinny, Java is short and flat, Borneo is shaped like home base, Special K here is Sulawesi, the Spice Islands. New Guinea is shaped like a Tetris piece. And then you have the handcuffs, Philippines, big island in the north, big island in the south, a bunch of islands in between. Taiwan is China's belly button, and then Japan is shaped like a banana. And those are all the islands of Asia. We're going to move back over here to the center to finish off Europe. So if you remember from when we learned Europe, you have a square, a bird, a boot, glove, that pretty cloud, and the big letter S, which connects back around to Africa. So if you remember, Asia, Africa touch right here near Alexandria and Cairo. To complete Europe, we start back here in Spain, go for that bird beak, we come out, we go back up. Europe is giving the thumbs up, and then the bunny ears, and then that alien head. The alien head is here, and that check mark that we finish off, you just do it all the way back over to finish up Russia. A few more islands. We have England, Ireland, Sicily, Crete, and Cyprus. And then we're almost done. The last couple things are new. Here we start in Australia. We have that Xbox controller down here for Australia. And then we also have this lowercase I in the very bottom right-hand corner, and that's New Zealand. So that's how you draw the whole world. Now let's start labeling. We're going to start with our mountain ranges, which I'm going to do in red. The first big mountain range is here in North America. It goes all the way down into Mexico, and these are the Rockies. So the Rocky Mountains are here in North America. We move into South America, and these are the Andes, A-N-D-E-S, the Andes. In Africa, we have the Atlas Mountains here in the north, A-T-L-A-S. And remember, Atlas is that dude who holds up the world on his shoulders. Down the center of Europe, we have the Alps. Here in Asia, first of all, we have the Caspian Sea, which I forgot to draw in earlier. And from the Caspian, between the Black Sea and the Caspian, we have this mountain range called the Caucasus. And the Caucasus, remember, if you're from this side, the east side of the Caucasus, you're Asian. If you're from the west side of the Caucasus, you are Caucasian. Coming up out of the Caspian, going north, these are the Urals, U-R-A-L-S, Urals. Remember, Europe is on this side, Asia is on that side. Then our last major mountain range goes down the heart of Asia, separating India from China, the tallest mountains in the world, and these are the Himalayas. So 7 mountain ranges: Rockies, Andes, Atlas, Alps, Caucasus, Urals, and Himalayas. Now we're going to move on to oceans. So the big ones, Pacific, of course, here. The Pacific Ocean is here in the west. Here between North America and Africa is the Atlantic Ocean. And that's why it's called the Atlantic slave trade, because slaves came from Africa, crossed the Atlantic, and ended up in the Americas. Down here, south of India, we have the cleverly named Indian Ocean. And we finally end up back here. To be specific, it is also the Pacific Ocean. So remember, this is a round globe on a flat surface. So the Pacific is here, Pacific is also over here. And the last ocean of the world is in the north. It rounds the North Pole and is called the Arctic Ocean. And like the Pacific, it's on both sides. So the Arctic Ocean is up here, and the Arctic Ocean is also over here. And remember, the Arctic Ocean is frozen most of the year. So it's one gigantic ice cap at the top of the North Pole. We have some seas. So if we come back here to North America, we have the Gulf of Mexico right next to Mexico. And we have the Caribbean with all these tropical islands here. So we have the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean Sea. If we move over here to Europe, in between Europe, Asia, and Africa, we have the Mediterranean. Mediterranean Sea is here. Moving east, we have south of China, we have the South China Sea, and hiding right here in that bight in Arabia is the Persian Gulf. And I'm just going to write PG, Persian Gulf. So those are our seas, and now we have, oh, and I forgot up here, the pretty cloud. This is the Black Sea. So those are our seas. Now we have some passages of water that we need to know about. There are two straits. The first is here between Spain and Africa, and these are the Straits of Gibraltar, right here between Spain and Africa. Down here in Southeast Asia, these straits that link Asia with India, these are the Straits of Malacca, M-E-L-A-K-A. Straits of Malacca, Straits of Malacca, they hook India into Asia. So, we have our bodies of water, we have two capes. Like Superman, we don't have one cape, we have two. The first is south of Africa, and this is the Cape of Good Hope. The second cape goes around the south end of South America, and this is the Cape of Magellan. But we're not done with water yet. We still have some rivers. So here in North America, we have the Great Lakes. We also have one big river that actually has three names. We have the Missouri, the Mississippi, M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I, and the Ohio rivers. So again, the Missouri, the Mississippi, and Ohio, and they all join together and dump out into the Gulf of Mexico. The world's largest river, it's not the world's longest, but it's the world's largest. It has the most water going through it, and they offer 2-day shipping, is the Amazon, down here in South America. Moving over to Africa, we have 3 rivers that we need to know. The first starts here and links around and dumps into the Atlantic, and this is the Niger River, N-I-G-E-R. Here in Central Africa, sort of shaped like the letter C, this is the Congo, C-O-N-G-O, and this is where Heart of Darkness is set, is in the Congo River. The heart of Africa, we have a very large lake called Lake Victoria. And from Lake Victoria comes the longest river in the world. And this is the Nile, N-I-L-E. This is the Nile River. Finally, so we have two rivers in Europe. The first comes out of the Alps and goes into the Black Sea, and this is the Danube. D-A-N-U-B-E. Danube. The second river in Europe starts here, moves through the land of vodka in Russia, and moves into the Caspian Sea. And this is the Volga. V-O-L-G-A, Volga. Finally, we have three rivers in Asia we need to know about. The first comes down here out of the Himalayas and divides India from the Middle East. And this is the Indus River, as in how much water is Indus River. So India is named after the Indus River. Out of the Himalayas, flowing through Southeast Asia and ending up in Vietnam, is the Mekong, M-E-K-O-N-G, the Mekong. And so when you read the things they carried, this is where the Vietnam War was. Last but not least, coming out of the Himalayas and flowing through central China and dumping out in the city of Shanghai is the Yangtze or Yangtze River. So that's all the water that we need to know for this particular map. But we're not done yet. Islands. So we're gonna start back here in the west. Right here in the center of the Pacific is beautiful Hawaii. H-A-W-A-I-I, Hawaii. Here in the center of the Gulf of Mexico is the island of Cuba, C-U-B-A. Off the coast of Africa, you have Madagascar. This large island here in Indonesia is known as New Guinea. And last but not least, these little islands hiding in the south, together they are known as New Zealand, home of the Kiwis. A few deserts to know about. The deserts are going to be in orange. Here in the north of Africa, this is the Sahara, S-A-H-A-R-A, the Sahara Desert here in North Africa. In southern Africa, we have the home of the Bushmen. This is the Kalahari. In the middle of the Middle East, we have the Arabian Desert. I'll have to draw an arrow in there. A-R-A-B-I-A-N, the Arabian Desert. In the north of China, we have, if you want to go from China to Russia, you have to go by the Gobi Desert, G-O-B-I. And finally, this is a tundra desert, not a sandy desert, but here in the north of Russia, we have Siberia. So instead of being jugged, Stalin would just send you to Siberia. Last, we have a couple of geographic features you should know about. The first here is the Isthmus of Panama. We wish you a merry Isthmus of Panama, right here. This horn-shaped thing attached to Africa is the cleverly named Horn of Africa. And now, last but not least, cities. So we're gonna start here in the west and move east again. So the city you guys know best is Los Angeles, L.A. Also here in the States, on the East Coast, we have New York City, NYC. Here in the heart of Mexico, up in the mountains, we have Mexico City, once known as Tenochtitlan. Here in South America, we have the home of the last Olympics, Rio de Janeiro. In Africa, we have two cities. One here in the south, next to the Cape of Good Hope, and it's the cleverly named Cape Town. It's where Superman does his dry cleaning. Up here in the north, we have the capital of Egypt, which is known as Cairo, C-A-I-R-O. Now, Europe, it's a very small continent, but it has a lot of cities that I need you to know. The first is here in England, and it's merry old London Calling, L-O-N-D-O-N. The capital of France, where the Eiffel Tower is Paris, P-A-R-I-S. Capital of Germany is Berlin, B-E-R-L-I-N. Capital of Italy and the home of the Catholic Church is Rome, sweet Rome. The birthplace of democracy is here in Greece, and that's Athens, A-T-H-E-N-S. Separating Europe from Asia is Istanbul was Constantinople. Now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople. So if you had a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul. Last but not least for Europe, the capital of Russia is Moscow. M-O-S-C-O-W. Few cities in Asia, and then we're nearly done. Home of the three of the great world religions is Jerusalem. North of Jerusalem, we have the heart of the Syrian crisis, which is Damascus, D-A-M-A-S-C-U-S. Here in the Arabian Peninsula, we have the home of the Islamic religion, Mecca, where Muslims are asked to travel at least once in their life. Here in India, we have the home of British colonialism, which was Calcutta, also home to Mother Teresa. In China, we have the capital, Beijing, B-E-I-J-I-N-G. And here on the island of Honshu in Japan, we have the largest city in the world, Tokyo. One last city hiding down here. It's actually an island off the tip of the peninsula here, and this is Singapore. S-I-N-G-A-P-O-R-E, Singapore. It's been in the news recently, so I added it to the map, which is this area right here between China and Japan. This peninsula here is called Korea, K-O-R-E-A. And it's been in the news recently because their dictator of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, is threatening to get nuclear weapons. Finally, we have the continents. The big areas of mass. There's 7 of them. The first is here, North America. Second is here, South America. The third is here, Africa. The fourth is up here. This is Europe. The fifth and largest is Asia, over here. The sixth, and brand new to this map, is Australia. And the last continent is actually so far south it doesn't even fit on our map. So you just draw an arrow and pointing down and say Antarctica. 7 continents, 75 places that you are responsible for knowing, and voila. So if you just hang on for a second, you can see the whole map. Thank you very much, and good luck studying.